You guys remember Jim Edmonds? He was somehow the greatest white athlete of his time while looking like a dad.
Yeah, I didn't get that because he looked like a dad. So how was he making these diving catches? Because every dad I knew couldn't do anything. Couldn't even run.
All the commentators would sort of shade him because they knew Jim Edmonds would hold up to make catches look a little bit more spectacular. But God bless him.
Yeah.
Stugatz and I were talking during all of this.
Good-looking man.
He is a good-looking man.
And he was just yelling about slinging munis again, Mike. And he was saying, hey, we got Maury locked in for next week. And I'm like, Maury? I'm like, we got Murray next week? He's like, no, Daryl Morey, the Rockets general manager.
Murray!
But now I got Murray on the brain, and he's got Morey on the brain, and he starts talking, he starts yelling about how, I knew to cold call when slinging munis. I knew to call a
Murray!
And I could be chummy with him. But then Stugatz was just yelling. There are certain names I knew to avoid allergic because it's the plague. I'm not going to get any money here.
Yep, Jimmy is one of those names. If I saw Jimmy in the phone book, I'm never calling a Jimmy. I just skip right over the Jimmys in the phone book because here's what happens with a Jimmy. A, he's got no time for you. He's not buying anything from you. And what happens at the end of the call, you're buying stuff from Jimmy. That's what happens. All of a sudden, you're buying stuff from Jimmy. So I just skipped over Jimmy's, and I would find more Murrays, Mortys, and Abrahams. Murray!
Wait a minute. Abraham. You go after an Abraham?
Listen, if it was in the phone book as Abe, I would not go after him. But Abraham, I'm going after an Abraham. Yep. All right, definitely Morty.
So anyways, I just want you to know. So I got Cody over here with Iceland, and I got Stugatz over here gelling and doing that and shouting at me that Barry Bonds once had a season where he had 73 homers and 137 RBI. 73 homer and 137 RBI.
If you said to me a guy hit 73 homers, guess how many RBIs he had? I would say like 175.
And I realized that because we were just celebrating this time in baseball so joyously, I realized as it was happening that this is the only topic from Greg Cote to his son who works on this show with me in between and all the people on this show. It's the only topic that all of us care deeply, weirdly about 90s baseball. One subject in the world brought us together, and it was Otis Nixon.
You guys remember how the LA Dodgers were just running the Rookie of the Year award?
Yes.
If you were an LA Dodger rookie, you were winning the Rookie of the Year. They owned the 90s. How are they not still a dynasty that they should have built in the 90s with all these amazing players? Who were their Rookie of the Year winners?
So they did from 92. So 92 they had Eric Karros, 93 Piazza, 94 Mondesi, 95 Hideo Nomo, and 96 Todd Hollinsworth.
A dynasty!
Hideo Nomo.
Yep.
That brings me back, man.
A decade!
Hollinsworth tailed off.
They really should have done more winning, to be honest with you.
They really should have.
Who was the
Every
manager?
year, Lasorda.
Oh, God. Overrated.
Every year they have a Rookie of the Year.
Billy, check out, speaking of 90s baseball, this name will resonate with a lot of people. Check out the 1996 season of Todd Hundley. Have some fun with that.
Talk about another guy that looked
You
like
got to
a
look at all the
dad.
seasons around. Yes, Hundley did look like a dad. You're right. You got to look at the seasons around the season that I'm talking.
Go ahead, give it to us, Guillermo.
Wow.
So,
Give it to us.
93, Todd Hundley had 11 home runs. 94, he had 16. 95, he had 15. 96, he had 41.
More people in sports who look like a dad. Greg Olson, I nominate him. Next.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Hal Morris.
Oh, my God. People are just texting and tweeting in. And I think it's younger people because they have no idea that this happened. The 90s. Larry Walker, 97. Holy bleep.
Well, I just don't understand how it is that this is the only thing that reaches across all the generations that we have sitting in this room right now, is that time in baseball when we cared like that. And now, I mean, you can name your local guys, but we didn't care. That sport mattered so damn much.
Jeff Kent, your friend's dad that you were scared of.
Oh, yes.
That's so true. I'm struggling today because I don't know where to go conversationally. I want to go badly toward guys in sports who look like a dad. which is that entire Brave staff from the 90s. But I also love that we have stumbled upon what I believe to be the sacred common ground where all of us, no matter creeds, religions, all of us gather to slap each other on the shoulder about sports. I don't think there's another one other than 90s baseball. I don't know why it is, but I'm saying that this connects to the audience. What we are getting inundated with by text is just a whole lot of people nostalgic in a way that's unreasonable about Jay Buhner.
Oh, Buhner. Oh, man.
That guy looks so good.
Buhner.
Coolest teams ever. One of the coolest teams ever. He looked like a dad.
Like a
late
bad dad.
late 90s dad. Like weekend dad.
Motorcycle dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buhner.
Ooh, did he have some seasons?
I mean, Dante Bichette,
Stepdad.
Stepdad. Definitely stepdad pulling up on a motorcycle.
Oh, Funcle.
Ellis Burke's dad. Can't forget. Oh, Dan Wilson. The one crappy player on that team, but steady Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
And looks like a dad.
Yes.
How is this the connection point? Seriously, Stugotz, what is it about this time period? Because if you go back a little further to Oscar Gamble and funny guys, Claudell Washington, when people were growing up on Braves and America's team and they were learning baseball in a much different way. We were all being introduced to cable television at the same time. That time is too early. It's this specific wheelhouse of like, I don't even know what it is. Is it 92 to 97? Because it's not even all of the 90s, is it?
The wheelhouse is Bobby Ayala.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Rick Aguilera.
Yes.
I mean, for Bichette, it was 95 to 97. So I think you're right. It's not the entire decade, but it's like 92, 97, somewhere in that range.
Oscar Gamble, because of that fantastic afro of his underneath that little baseball cap, I feel like transcends eras. So no matter what era you're talking about, there's always a place for Oscar Gamble.
Milton Bradley was terrifying.
He really was. What a bad
Carl
guy.
Everett.
What?
Carl Everett.
Oh, my God. Carl Everett?
Yeah, Carl Everett.
Oscar Gamble introduced me on cable television to the afro. Not even making that up. He came in running in for a fly ball, and his cap would always pop off.
60-year-old Willie McGee always playing somehow.
Yep. Look like a grandfather.
The same thing happened with Claudell Washington. Played with the biggest glove I've ever seen. But it's before this era that you guys are speaking of. This is not the connection point era. This is me, hey, old timer, nobody cares.
Tim Salmon rocking the California Angels,
Oh,
and
my
then
God.
the post-Disney ownership cartoonish Anaheim Angels when Jim Edmonds was diving around in center field. Love that team.
Are there any Claudells left? Or was he the last one?
That Mo Vaughn contract didn't work out for the Anaheim Angels.
No,
Claudell's still with us.
Guillermo, put on the poll. Was that the last Claudell?
You getting choked up?
It's such a beautiful name. It's
Well,
such a beautiful name.
Oscar Gamble is no longer living, just so you know. He's no longer with us.
Well,
Did you know that?
no.
I'm just letting you know, man.
The Urban Dictionary says Claudel is a wild and crazy woman.
Wow. Is that with an E at the end?
No, Claudell.
I think Claudel spelled it with an E at the end. If I'm
Not Claudell
mistaken.
Washington.
You guys remember the Jim Edmonds trade from Anaheim to St. Louis? You know what they got back?
Tell me.
Ken Bottenfield
Get
and Adam Kennedy.
Get out of
And
here.
that was a win-win because Adam Kennedy was a pro for a long time, and I think Bottenfield actually started an All-Star game as a huge surprise to everybody. Bottenfield looked like a dad.
Peak Claudel namings was in 1940. There were 16 babies named Claudel per million in 1940, and then we've dropped off some slowly. 44, there was a little bit of an uptick again, 11 per million, and then a low was 1951, only 2 babies per million named Claudel. Then we went back up, 56, 8 per million. Then we went down a little bit. 1976, we got up to 10 per million.
Wow.
And now we're kind of at a steady 2 babies named Claudel per million since 1987.
You guys remember when the Brewers came from the AL to the NL, and because of regional television, you finally got introduced to dad-looking Jeff Cirillo.
Oh, Jeff Cirillo.
Mike, you were right about those Angel teams. Those were really good teams. How did they not win more?
It's absurd.
Garrett Anderson, Jim Edmonds, and Tim Salmon with Eddie Murray as a DH. Still playing then?
Eddie Murray?
And Dad.
Well, how about this? Bartolo Colon actually pitched to Eddie Murray. And Bartolo Colon has a secret family. 2 dads. Bartolo Colon, 2 dads.
Wow. I guess it's not a secret anymore. Yeah.
No, it's not. No.
Cal Eldred.
Oh, Troy Percival.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man. This is exciting.
Huh? How about Troy Glaus?
Oh, get out of here. You get out of here.
Was Tony Womack on those teams?
Oh, Tony Womack.
Good for 45, 50 bags a season, right? Yeah.
Remember how shocking it was when Baerga shaved? Oh, I know where I was.
Those Indians teams should have won a lot more. The 90s Indians, oh my God. Look at Manny, Baerga, Kenny Lofton was on that team. Those teams were stacked. Tomey. Oral Hershiser.
Big Sexy was on those teams too? Big Sexy? Richie Sexton?
I don't think Sexton was on those teams.
I feel he didn't come
He
through
may have
that
been
system.
on those teams.
Remember the year Greg Vaughn had? He was being tracked on the newspaper with Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire.
Sexton was a bat off the bench there, Bill.
Wow.
What about
They should have
Burnitz?
won a lot more.
What about Jeremy Burnitz? You remember Jeremy Burnitz?
Oh, pornographic hacks.
Porn hack Jeremy Burnitz?
Yes.
Wow.
Those Brewers teams, too. They should have been a lot better.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Were you terrified of Troy Percival? Put that on the poll. Also, did you know Bartolo Colon had a secret family, reportedly?
Rob Nen.
Oh,
Name spelled backwards the same way as it is forward.
palindrome.
Dad-looking Rob Nen.
Rob Nen.
What happened? What happened, Guillermo?
Just you screaming palindrome.
That's right, because Dad is also a palindrome. It's a wonderful way to end the segment. Boom. Nailed the dismount.
I ain't got time to bleed.
There's a reason why Dell is used in almost every office building. It's because the...
What are you thinking about, John Jaha? You thinking about John Jaha? Because I'm thinking about John Jaha.
I can't stop thinking about John Jaha. Why did we care so much about John Jaha? Why? It was unreasonable. Like, why?
Still the only person in recorded history with the name John Jaha. there isn't
no
another John Jaha.
A name that sounds like Cody's cough, right? A name.
Jah. Jah.
John what?
That's a monster season, Jah. 35 dingers.
Put it on the poll. Has there ever been more than just one person named John Jaha?
Yes, sure. Put it on the wall.
His father was Claudel Jaha.
You know.
I don't know what to do. One more.
Thank you for that. Dante Bichette.
Said that name.
Covered him.
I think the
Stepdad.
segment started there.
2 minutes.
yeah.
Cody, get out of here. 2 minutes. Get out. Get out. 2 minutes. Christ almighty.
Christ almighty. Dante Bichette sounds like a French dish.
Oh, you guys, Jeff Blauser.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mark Lemke.
Mark Lemke.
You can't say Blauser without Lemke.
You can't say Blauser without Lemke.
It's Laurel and Hardy.
Put
Blauser
that
and
in the bowl.
Lemke.
Can you say Blauser without saying Lemke?
Mickey Morandini.
Oh!
Chris Sabo?
Oh, the goggles. The goggles. The goggles.
You want to talk about great teams that never won? That the Orioles team. Let me tell you.
Greg Cote of the Miami Herald in with us. We have found an amazing common ground. I wanted to talk about Landon Donovan and that he was supposed to be on the show, and Allison said he personally apologized. Now he's not going to be on the show. He's in the news because, you know, the stuff happening with Mexico and the World Cup. I wanted to get to that, but I can't get to it because everyone in here is just pelting me with 90s baseball players.
Guys, I'm putting together a list, and I don't even know what this list is, but it makes all the sense in the world to me. I got John Jaha, Ed Sprague, Rob Nen, Ron Gant, Joe Randa, Jay Bell, Al Martin on this list. What is this list? But it all makes so much sense.
Yeah. Well, which list is it? Is it, guys who look like a dad? Is it 90s, all 90s team? What are we doing here?
It's just the way their names look.
Okay.
Wally Joyner's not on your list?
No. Way too many.
Wally Ball.
I know what I'm going for here has fewer syllables than Wally Joyner.
Rob Dibble.
And why does Rob Nen have so many B's in his name? They were just handing out B's like crazy back then.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
He had 2 B's in Rob, but only 1 N to N Nen?
Mark Gruzalonic.
Oh, I dare you to spell Gruzalonic.
Go ahead.
You might be able
dare
to.
you.
I'm looking at it and I can't spell it.
No, I thought you might be able to just because it's a name that resonates from the time period so much. The same way we all did Lemke and Blauser, weirdly. Like, that's the most Caucasian thing that's ever happened in the history of this show.
Tied at the hip.
Why wouldn't you go Bob Nen if you like B so much? And has there ever been a Bob with 2 B's at the end? Bob?
It's a great question. Yeah,
It is.
It is. I'm on it. Someone say Tom Henke.
Mike.
Tim Belcher.
Oh, God. Exciting day, man. Got a million lists. I don't know what any of them mean. I'm confused. I don't know what we're doing. It's amazing, though. I got Tommy Hurt with 8 homers and 110 RBIs one season. How is that possible?
I don't know why, but I'm adding Paul Bacco to this list, and it makes sense.
It does. You're right. It does.
Right? It does make sense.
It totally makes
Right
sense.
beneath Joe Randa.
We need to come up with one name that just sums up what we're talking about.
Better than Jaha?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Ron Gant.
That's good.
Yeah.
Ron Gant's good.
Ron Gant. Quick to the point.
Yeah, it's got to be 2 syllables, though, Mike.
Rob Nen, Ron Gant. Rob Nen, Ron Gant.
You put an Al Harris in there, or who'd you put an Al?
Al Martin.
Al what?
Al Martin. J Bell.
Al Martin.
J
Al Martin.
Bell.
Too many syllables.
No, too many syllables.
Too many syllables.
J Bell. Ron Gant. Rob Nen.
Perfect.
Ed Sprague.
J Bell, perfect. Ed Sprague, perfect. Rob Nen, perfect.
Chili
Walt
Davis.
Weiss.
Chili Davis.
Walt Weiss. Perfect syllable count.
Walt Weiss.
Walt Weiss.
Chili Davis, though. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. New list.
Chili Davis
Chili
is a
Davis.
totally different thing.
Yeah,
Chili
It's a
Davis.
beautiful name, though.
It's 3 syllables.
Beautiful
Pose.
name.
Scott Pose. Perfect. Scott Pose.
Pose.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Denny Nagel.
No,
No,
Scott
man,
Pose
we're doing Scott.
can't be.
You're not getting this game.
There's 15 different games going on.
Chuck Carr.
Chuck Carr.
Chucky.
2 syllables, boom, boom, in your face. Used to come to games with a leather jacket that he wore with his face painted on the back. Chuck Carr, baby. Woo! I wish baseball was that today. It is not anymore. They'll throw baseballs at you if you show up at the ballpark wearing a leather jacket with your face on it.
Pat Rapp.
Oh, Pat Rapp! Oh, Pat Rapp! That's a haymaker! Oh, it's got 2 P's! The P, you hit me with the PP!
What do we do now?
But Pat only has 1 T. What is happening?
Oh.
Who's the manager of this team with Scott Post, Jay Bell, Chuck Carr, Ron Gant, Rob Nen, Pat Rapp?
John Bowles.
Oh, wow!
Oh, bug-eyed Bulls!
Man!
What?
Comedy team from the 50s. What the hell are we doing?
Oh! This is the greatest show we've ever done.
Yes.
Yeah. Sandwich. Yeah, this is great. All right.
There's no topping this.
Nope.
Winded.
Cody hasn't contributed anything, man. No, just nothing.
Didn't I say Pat Rapp?
You want,
Chili Davis for some reason. Did
you understand? Did you?
What were you
understand?
saying about Dante Bichette? What were you?
Well,
where
I
were you
went to. We're on 2 syllables.
It's Dan, Stu, and Greg Cote on ESPN Radio.